Check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. It's an audio check. The webinar. Check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Okay, dude, I gotta go. I'm gonna do this webinar now. It's starting. All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Okay, dude, I gotta go. I'm gonna do this webinar now. It's starting. All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Okay, dude, I gotta go. Okay, welcome everybody. This is BitcoinTeo. I just wanted to welcome everyone into the webinar, and we're going to be talking about some really... Okay, welcome everybody. Okay. This is BitcoinTeo. Really cool stuff here. Sorry about the little audio glitches. Just took care of that. So let's start this off properly. For those of you who are joining me live, fantastic. This will be broadcast in replays as well. So rest assured you will get the information. We've got a lot to cover today. I'm going to keep it high level, and we're going to go over a number of really interesting things. And let's get started, folks. Just bear with me a couple while I do a little admin, and I will be right back to the show. Here I am, BitcoinTeo. I want to say a warm welcome to everybody on the Diamond team and also throughout Earth. This is a live event, but it will be offered as a replay as well. We're going to cover a lot of topics today. I just want to say hi, everyone here, so you can see me, that I am a real person, fellow human. All right, guys. Let's get rolling with this information, because there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try to keep it about an hour today, guys. And this is what we're going to be talking about. The series I like to call the Crypto Tales. We're going to be delving into all things Bitcoin and talk about altcoins, talk about some specific things, the history, the challenges, some of the technology that is available today to us. We're going to talk about a specific altcoin called Dascoin. And then we're going to go through some conclusions, and I'm going to open it up to Q&A. Now, while I'm going to be presenting today, feel free to place your questions and comments in the sidebar. We will get those. At the end of the section, there will be a Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer all those questions. If for some reason we don't get to them, we can always respond to your questions offline. And another item with that is that with the replays, we're looking to get this out to as many people as possible. And these webinars are going to be transcribed in different languages as well. I want to give a big shout out to the Diamond team, to Paul, Mateus, to Fraser, and all the fabulous leadership that we do have. Also the guys who are behind Dascoin, so forth. Big shout out to all those guys. This purpose of this webinar is to give another perspective. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, who I am, and why I believe you should listen to me. You don't have to, of course, but you know, I've got something to contribute, I believe, and hopefully you find that information useful. So please feel free to comment. Now, if for some reason you're watching a replay, again, the comments still will work, and we will get them and we will field them. We obviously won't be able to do it live for you, but we can field them and respond to you with specific concerns, questions, you know, or even if you want to heckle us, that's all right. So let's get rolling, guys. Here we go. So let's first of all talk about who I am, okay? My name is Teo, okay, and I go by BitcoinTeo online. In a former life, I used to be a military pilot. I used to work for the dark side, and you know, I did many things for many years. I gained a lot from that experience, working in large organizations and learning. You know, we're always constantly learning. Bottom line, I'm a human being. Okay, that's the first thing. So I share that in common with everybody here who's a biped and who's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and puts their on one leg at a time. Okay, so that's what we all have in common, and that's what we got to realize. Because I'm going to come. A lot of guys have given webinars on this topic of Bitcoin and so forth, but you know, I think I have a fresh perspective, and I want to share that with everybody. So just a little bit more, you know, about me. You can find me profile. I try to tweet stuff related to Bitcoin and so forth. I'm also, what qualifies me is that you know, I've been around Bitcoin for quite some time. I'm an investor in Bitcoin. This here is my Bank of the Future profile. This is where I do a portion of my investing. And you know, I'm just a real guy. I'm a human, number one. I'm a father. I'm a son, and I'm a crypto user. I'm a Bitcoin supporter. I also support and invest and trade many other cryptos. So the opportunity is for you too. Okay, honestly, in order to get into crypto, frankly, the minimum requirement you need is a phone. If you don't have a phone, you can go to internet cafes. So this is open to the entire planet, guys. And 50% of the world's population is currently unbanked. So, you know, there's lots of internet cafes in all these places where the unbanked live. I want to encourage you to share this with these people, with your friends. And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about many things today. But let's start with where we are right now. Okay, this is a quote from a famous man you may recognize. He's obviously somebody who is a pioneer in many industries. He's going to space. He's doing other things. He's you know, he's got his own airline. This guy is well respected. And here he's talking about a world without cash. If you just look at some of the recent news, I mean, there's an assault on cash happening all over the planet. India, Australia, many places are restricting our access to cash. So this is relevant. And you know, this is not Teo saying this. This is Richard Branson talking about this. So let's talk about Bitcoin first, because that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get into why, first of all, came into the scene, and I'm going to give you my perspective on that. This gentleman, Satoshi Nakamoto, is an anonymous person who created a monetary system. Basically, Bitcoin is a monetary system, and he did this in response to the 2008 financial crisis, where Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, two very large investment banks on Wall Street were, got into some trouble. They made some really risky bets and had a lot of derivative positions, and they had a margin call, and it all imploded. So not only did it affect them and their recklessness, but it affected tens of thousands, if not millions, of other businesses, people, etc., that were somehow related to these people. Okay, so this is where we have the problem with centralized monetary policy and centralized systems, like our current banking system. You've got these conglomerates that they congeal wealth and power into a small section, and what they do there is they take risky bets, and they're funded by greed often, and they make wrong decisions, in my opinion, and sometimes it backfires on them. We saw that in 2008. So Satoshi, he came up with this protocol called Bitcoin, which is a decentralized system, which allows people to share monetary instruments back and forth without it's quite revolutionary. And all the technology is highly advanced. It's cryptographic. I'm not going to get into a lot of the details of the technology. I want you to go ahead and talk about that and research that on your own. So that's why Bitcoin was born. That's the why. That's why Bitcoin came to be. Okay, because he saw what happened with a single player, and he didn't like it, and he created this protocol, which is all open source. Okay, Bitcoin is just the first of these coins. If I wanted to have Teo coin today, the protocol, go into the software, change the name, relaunch it, and I could have Teo coin. Okay, but here's the question: why would people use Teo coin if it's the exact copy of Bitcoin? So you got to understand that Bitcoin was the first, and there's a lot of additional coins that have made improvements over the initial Bitcoin. Bitcoin is great. I still use it. Okay, I use it a lot. I love it. I give it away. All right, we'll talk about that. Now, let's talk about the basics of Bitcoin. First of all, Bitcoin has 21 million coins. That's in the original setup. 21 million coins only. Okay, fiat money is printed out of thin air, basically. Fiat is Latin for because we say so. And what that means is, guys, every time someone like Obama or some other president of some other country prints tons and tons of money out of thin air, and they add that to the debt that the people have to pay back, well, there's a fundamental problem with that, because not only are they subverting the currency that's in circulation, they're devaluing it. I mean, obviously, if there's more of something, and if there's more dollars, for example, Obama has added more than 5 trillion to the U.S. debt. Now, it took 250 years to get to 5 trillion in the United States, and then here comes Mr. Obama, President Obama, and he and his friends, they printed another 5 trillion plus. Okay, well, that's why people are running out of month before they run out of money before they run out of month. All right, and so let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has this limitation of only 21 million coins. There's no centralized authority. There's no CEO. There's no office. It's peer-to-peer. This is going to be a high-level talk. We're going to talk about how it works and some of the other, a lot of people have talked about how it works and so forth. We're not going to get into all that detail. I want you guys to focus on the high-level stuff, at least in this webinar first. Good understanding, because this is where it all starts. So I mentioned that anybody can have a coin. Anyone can basically make a coin. You can download the protocol, change it, and then call it whatever coin you want. Now, the chances of that coin actually getting any traction are probably slim to none, and slim just left out. So what we've seen in the industry is that coins that seem to have, interest, that are actually doing something useful and taking the best of Bitcoin and making it into something better, like Ethereum, like Dash, like Monero, like other coins. All these coins have a specific purpose: storage. Um, these coins are taking the best of Bitcoin and they're giving them and putting them into a specific um, task. Bitcoin itself, okay? Now, Bitcoin itself. Let's go back to Bitcoin itself. And we'll roll to the next slide here. Bitcoin growth. All right. We have seen tremendous Bitcoin growth. It first came out in 2009, January 2009, and it's had an interesting history. It's a decentralized currency in the sense that all the coins in the beginning, they didn't have any coins, so they had to make them. They had to mine them in a decentralized way. So some people made investments. Some people put $27 into Bitcoin back in 2009, and other people were mining Bitcoin back then, and they're like, hey, what do I do with this? What can I do with it? I'm hungry. I want to get some pizza. And this guy, is ordering pizzas, in these 4chan chat rooms and so forth. And, someone's accepting 10,000 Bitcoins for the first pizza delivery. So that's how, what is the price of anything? If you've been around the horn once or twice, you know that the price of anything is basically what someone's willing to pay for it. So that's what the markets do. That's what a free market economy does. A free market economy will give you a price based on a supply and demand. That's how the dynamics work. So, that $27 at the spike of Bitcoin here, back in 2013, that was worth well over $800,000. Now I'm going to show you the charts here. That's just amazing growth, okay? And that should send some flags to you guys. That should say, hey, there's something up with this. There may be something useful here. There's about Bitcoin. I mean, you can send money and receive money 5 feet away. You can send and receive money 10,000 miles away. It doesn't matter. Okay, the internet. It works with the internet. It's all cryptographic. No one has ever been able to steal a Bitcoin from somebody's encrypted wallet. Now, there have been situations in the past where exchanges have been hacked. Okay, because they didn't have the proper security set up, etc. But that's part of this. That's part of the story. So, if we don't talk about those kind of things, it is part of the story. So I will talk about those things. There's no topics that are barred here. But let's just take a look at this. Let's just take a look at this chart. Okay, this shows here the Bitcoin price chart, and you can see how it was flat for quite some time. A lot of miners making coins, and then it started taking some traction here, only in 2013. So, you got all these Bitcoin experts out there, Roger Ver, other people. Now, they're investors in Bitcoin. I'm an investor in Bitcoin. I'm an investor in other technologies as well. So the fact that differentiates me and Roger is really nothing, only time. That's it. He got in a little earlier. That's all. And the same thing with you. Okay, what I'm going to show you here, guys, is that there's an opportunity with Bitcoin and other related alt currencies, because of their nature, that truly, in my belief, could set humanity free. Because you got to understand, many of the control mechanisms that our current systems have used, have led to the rise of corporations, the rise of very powerful organizations that can wield tremendous power. And they do it through advertising, they do it through other means, and all it does is it further consolidates. And we're finding that the dreams of our fathers that we had when when most of us were kids and the dad could work and the mom could stay home and the kids could be raised. Well, those days are gone. Now both parents have to work. We're promised these retirements. If you do have a decent job, well, okay. But then you get closer and closer to retirement, and hey, the factory shuts down. Whoa, what happened there? Okay, sorry guys. I mean, that's what's happening, and that's the reality of the situation. These guys have not been very responsible. They've made tremendous wealth, and they haven't been very responsible with how they've used it to help humanity, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Now, I'm going to talk about some specific things with Bitcoin that are related to some of the challenges that it has. Okay, first of all, Bitcoin is fantastic, number one, but it does have some issues. Okay, some challenges. You know, there's these things called the blockchain debate. All right, people are always talking about what this means, and honestly, I'm not going to get into the weeds on it. But what I'm going to do say is that my understanding of it is this: there's only so many transactions that the network can handle. Currently, I think there's like 5,000 something nodes, full nodes that exist. The optimum number of transactions that can be processed per second is only 7. All right, that's not very many. This is why you haven't seen Bitcoin really go mainstream yet. Now they're working on it. They're making it better. You know, they're talking about it. But there's other coins that are also coming out there and trying to solve these same problems because they see what this digital currency can do for us, and how wonderful it can be. So Bitcoin has, you know, it has a place with all. I mean, I love Bitcoin and I owe an allegiance to it because it was the first, and all these altcoins that are coming after it are improvements, and Bitcoin continues to improve. So, you know, we've got all these different fork arguments, and we got this, that, and the other. But some of the major challenges with Bitcoin, let me just point out, are the fungibility. That's a big word that means spendability. Okay. Unfortunately, right now, there's only, you know, 150,000 merchants maybe worldwide that accept Bitcoin. When you're walking in to the store, you want to buy lettuce and eggs and whatever, and you want to use Bitcoin. Well, most people, they won't accept it because they don't know about it. And then if you try to explain it to them, you know, they're on you. So that's one of the largest challenges they have, how to make it more spendable. Okay, and so local shops can use it and you can spend it. And why do I keep it in my wallet? Well, I am an advocate of Bitcoin, and everyone I talk to, I try to get them to accept Bitcoin. That's why I have these signs. You saw that little sign behind me, Bitcoin signs. We're putting in Bitcoin ATMs all over the universe, and scalability is another thing I want to talk to you about. Okay, when I mentioned these full nodes and the capacity of Bitcoin to handle large volumes of transactions, this is a major challenge because, you know, we're not seeing major financial networks such as Visa, MasterCard, stuff like that, or traders, guys that are handling, you know, Forex trading, etc. They're not using Bitcoin to handle these transactions. Why? Well, because sometimes the transactions take long. Sometimes they take, you know, 15 minutes. Sometimes they take 30. Sometimes they take 3 hours. If I'm transferring, you know, $100 million, financial trader, well, that's a problem. I can't have my money disappear for 3 hours or 5 hours or whatever. So you see, that's a challenge. Now they're working on it. Trust me. But it's a clog. Okay, there's a clog in the system, and the main issue here is that. All right, sorry about that. I hit the wrong button, guys. My apologies there. Let me get that off, and I will be right back with you here. Okay, there we go. All right, so so that's the main point. Bitcoin is wonderful, and it is getting better all the time, but it does still have some challenges, and this is probably why we haven't seen it go mainstream yet. Okay, this graph here, sorry for the quality of the photo, but this one talks about the block size debate. And you notice here, this over where we're talking, you know, that where it starts to get orange and red, what we're doing is these nodes are filling up. And the problem is that they can only handle so many transactions. And therefore, it limits the amount of scalability, like extra transactions you can throw at it. If a big player wants to come in and start using Bitcoin to handle, you know, a lot of transactions for the business, whatever it is, well, then see, because we're you know, we're running here at like high RPM, and we got our Toyota, we got our four banger Toyota going at you know, full RPM in 4th gear, and you know, we're giving it up. Yeah, okay, now they're working to solve it, but this is, we're currently right now we're zooming down the highway, and they're making the changes as we go. But this is important to understand, that these challenges are real, and these debates are real, and that they may impact the way Bitcoin is evolving in the future. We don't really know. But I believe that the Bitcoin core teams and the Bitcoin people that are advocating for certain things, this over that, large size over small size, block size, etc., is going to make it's going to work out, and they're going to solve it. That's my firm belief. Okay, let's just talk about the first thing here. I should have mentioned this earlier, but this, guys, this is not financial advice. This is the disclaimer. I'm not giving any financial advice here, people. I'm just another human being, and I'm sharing what I know and the things that I've learned and my perspective for education, and this is for entertainment purposes only. So with that said, let's talk about the vision here. And again, we have Richard Branson. Now he's saying here that, in the future, global currencies may look quite different than we have. Maybe in the future, maybe 50 years, 20 years, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, we won't be passing around these little pieces of paper with on the fronts and backs of them with sayings and slogans. Perhaps we'll be doing something different. Okay, and this is Virgin saying it. This is not me. So this is what I want to talk to you about here. Let's take a look at some of the specifics. Let's talk about Dascoin. What is Dascoin, first of all? Dascoin is another altcoin. Okay, it's specifically designed to handle financial matters, financial trading. It was built for Forex traders. Okay, I'm going to go over that here shortly. But if you look at this graph, you can see some of the benefits of Dascoin over Bitcoin. It shares many things in common with it. And I firmly believe it has gone to take the best of Bitcoin, all the security protocols, decentralized wallets, etc., improved upon them so that Dascoin can be used as a step, the next step, making this a reality. Okay, so study this, take a look at it. We're going to go over some of these details, but scalability is certainly extremely important if you're dealing with large financial transactions. Some of these other things, incentivized marketing force. Okay, that's one thing I want to talk about here real briefly. Dascoin has chosen to use a network marketing plan for their distribution of the ideas. It's people to people. Okay, it's if you go back to what I was saying about how typically things have happened in the way things have gone, most of the wealth and most of the power is congealed into these corporations. That's the current system, current model, and it's my opinion that this model is ineffective in the sense that it rewards some of the people very, very well, but the vast majority of the people that actually make the corporation run don't get those rewards, and many times they often get shown the door when it's most convenient. So the other model, this network marketing model, is a nice model in the sense that the people that actually help the word of mouth information spread get rewarded, and each individual has their own business. So it's decentralized in that way, and so they can't necessarily just blow up the broadcasting center of Dascoin, for example, to take it out, because I'm here in Mexico, and Fraser's in Cyprus, and Paul's in Ireland, and Ryan's in Washington State, and we've got people everywhere, all over the planet. So see, it's decentralized, guys, and it's word of mouth. How do most people find out about stuff? It's word of mouth. People ask, hey, what's the best restaurant? Hey, what's the best this? That's how people communicate, word of mouth. So we're going to talk about some of these main functions of Dascoin and what I believe makes it really, really something that people should look at. It's got the scalability factor. It uses. We're going to get into some of this. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds, but imagine this. Imagine you're a trader and you want to start using this system, and you're currently handling I don't know, $100 million a day of transactions, you want to know that you can port that over to this system and it's going to be able to handle it. And then guess what? Because the system is 20% faster, well, that means that instead of me doing 100 trades a day, I get to do 120. Or if it's 100 trades a week, then maybe it's 120 trades a week. You see, I can do 20% more trades. That means more volume. That means that, there's going to be other incentives to scale up if I can do even more. Maybe I open up another branch. Maybe I open up another center, another trading center. I don't know. But if the system can handle the scale, then let's scale it. That's what business does. Okay. If you compare that to Bitcoin, you try to put $100 million, dollars worth of transactions back and forth with 5,000 nodes and seven transactions per second. It's going to crash. I hate to say it. It's not scalable. It's not scalable yet. They're working on it. They're still focusing on it, but it's going to crash. All right, security. Let's talk about that. There's some certain elements here where, if you look at, why Bitcoin's taken so long to get off the ground, is because they went with a decentralized production model, which means that everybody has to mine their own coins. That's just fine. That's great. Consolidation of miners now. You got these huge mining farms that are coming up, and people are making mining, a big business, and you can't get into it as an individual unless you have access to free power and etc. So it's getting more difficult for the average small guy to do it, and more people are going to pooled mining and so forth. But again, those pooled mining assets are congealing. Okay, and so they talk about decentralized. So look at the mining equation, and they're allowing all this mining to happen centralized. So if I wanted to take it out, I'm talking from my military mind here. Let's say there's I would target the biggest miners. Boom, boom, boom. Take them out. There you go. No more Bitcoins being mined. In reality. Okay. So with a and it's taken a long time for these coins to make it into the market. That's another thing. So the spool up time to get the coins available for them to be used is another issue. Now we have more than 15 million coins, 16 million coins somewhere in there made already. So that's not really a problem anymore. But still, the trend is more towards centralized mining, and that affects security. The model that Dascoin uses is they still create a cryptographic coin that can be held in a decentralized wallet. Okay, so all the benefits of the coins in your own decentralized wallet, then you're good. They can't break into that. There could be some vulnerabilities. Just like with what I said earlier with the mining, they could potentially take out Dascoin, I guess, and so they couldn't make any more coins. But they're working on that as well. The system has a lot of simplicity, stability, ability as well. So I want you to research that. There's going to be a lot more information. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds. Now, here we have a team of professionals that each one has a specialty, a specialty field. I'm going to talk about this briefly. We've got a fabulous team here. All right, and I inquire everyone to look into that. Look into each person. These guys are experts in web wallets, experts in multi-level marketing and getting the word out to people, experts in financial systems. Okay, so do a little research. I'm not going to go into the weeds with these guys, but please do so. All right, let's talk about the technology, the underlying fundamental technology, because that's what I look at when I'm an investor. Okay, that's why I've invested in Bank to the Future. That's why I've invested in things like Mega Upload 2 and Kim.com, Kraken, Ethereum, other things. Okay, I like to have a nice diversified portfolio, guys. I'm just a human. All right, I'm trying to look out for my family just like you guys. And let's talk about this gentleman right here. Okay, this is Blair Baker. He's on the right. And Blair Baker is a financial expert, guys. Blair Baker has been building exchanges since, Max Kaiser and some of these other guys created exchanges back in the day. So big shout out to Max and big shout out to Blair, because virtual high five, guys. You guys are crushing it. I love it. Love to see it. Now, what has Blair done? He has built the fundamental underlying exchange which handles the Dascoin system. DAS stands for Digital Asset System. It also has a secondary name I like to say, the coin, which is kind of cool. DAS in German and stuff. I want you guys to look into his background. He's a pro, all right, and he's not he's somebody that is very well respected within the industry, within the financial industry, within Wall Street. So the team that's been assembled here is not just a crackpot, bunch of pimple-faced, Bitcoiners out there. No offense, anybody. No offense. Gotta be up. But this is a very, very serious team, and that's the point I want to make about that. So research all these claims that are on this slide, please. So let's talk about effective marketing. The old way is basically, gosh, I was looking at the tissue box the other day, and there's like a Disney movie on the tissue box now. Oh, really? Are you kidding me? Okay, great. They're bombarding us constantly with these ads. This is what these corporations do. They flood the market with all this brain candy, to make us buy stuff. All right, that's how they work. They study very advanced techniques like neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and they figure out ways so that they go in and buy more. How do we do this? How do we do that? It's very scientific, okay? And I've already alluded to that, but I believe that way is not the best way, because not only does it pollute our environment with all these billboards and signs and commercials and, makes people have a 20-second attention span, but it also, it's not very effective. You got to spend like $1 trillion to freaking, excuse my French, to get, people to buy Coca-Cola or whatever, or people go to see your Frozen movie or this movie or whatever. But they understand the human mind, and for that I'll give that to them. Now let's compare that to the birth of affiliate marketing and network marketing, which is becoming hugely more available to people, the common person that wants to have their own business, okay, and be able to talk word of mouth about stuff. I'm not a huge person into affiliate marketing. I've done some professional affiliate marketing online. I've learned internet marketing, how to do it effectively online. And I've learned a little bit about network marketing, and I like it. I like to be able to help others. I like to be able to work as a team. I don't want to work all alone. I don't want to have to do this all by myself. I want to work as a team. I want my friend Eric to be able to take this webinar and translate it into 6 languages, because that's what he's great at. He's a linguist. He's the bomb, and that's what he's going to do. So you're gonna see this webinar coming out in French, German, et cetera, specifically target this information to those communities, because the information is getting out there, guys. It's getting out there. So it's a tremendous opportunity, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So there's two basic ways now. If you're interested, Dascoin, it's going to have fundamental value. Number one, when I look at stuff as an investor, I'm looking at stuff for the core valuation. What does it do? Why is it good? What makes it better? Okay, buy this one over that one. What? Tell me, show me. Okay, show me the people, show me the technology. And honestly, the way that the digital space has gone, especially with cryptos, you got a lot of people out there that it's like the Wild West, they call it. Well, yes and no. You got people doing all this pump and dump and this, that, and the other. That's just irresponsible, in my opinion. People are in this for the short term gain, and they overstep dimes. Excuse me, they overstep dollars to pick up dimes. That's the phrase I wanted to use. Up to this point, anyone who's been involved in Dascoin, because we're still very, very early in it, we have what's called advocates. Anyone who's in the system already is an advocate, or you can be just a customer. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to tell anybody about it. You can just be an investor. and we'll explain what both of these things mean. But an advocate is somebody who, thinks this is great and sees the value of having a system where we can hold our money in our wallet that can't be broken into by anybody, and that can be spent almost anywhere. So let's talk about some of these growth projections for Dascoin. It's a nice graph. They're very hopeful that this is going to take hold within the financial markets. We're going to have core financial traders who are going to definitely be using this because they're going to be able to make 20% faster trades. Okay, we've got plugins that plug into all the popular trading platforms, MT4, MetaTrader 4. Okay, and these guys that are moving Swiss francs and dollars and euros, these forex guys, they're going to want to come over and use the DAS system because it's faster, scalable. Okay, it's better than the legacy systems, and the cost of doing business is very, very low. All right. So they're going to have a core demand for these coins. That's where the core demand is going to come. And then there's going to be secondary demand, I believe, which is going to be in the commodity markets, all the commodity traders out there. And then it's going to flow into all the other markets. Okay. Dascoin will, like Bitcoin, is only going to have 8.6 billion in the limited supply. 8.6 billion people. Yeah, maybe one coin per person. I don't know. It seems like a small number, but with a limited number, again, you're going to have if you have a demand, a core demand, and then also people who want to speculate and use it as a wealth holding tool, you can get some coins and hold them and let them appreciate leisure. So that's another option. Let's just talk about the roadmap where we are. Okay, here we are almost in January of 2017. There's been a few things happen. The charter sale started. They've issued some coins to the original people that got this off the ground. The affiliate program started, and we're in the process of actually today we're switching over to a binary plan. This date here was pushed a little bit. The November 8th date is actually today. So the binary, there was a little bit of a database glitch coming over with some of the migration. That's been solved. And then look here, there's a big event happening in Hong Kong in less than a month, or right around a month from now, and with regards to the actual system being operational, and where the exchanges and the futures markets are going to be operational. And then the big release here is going to be coming in a very short time, okay, where the coins are actually going to be live traded on physical markets, Poloniex, and I'm not sure if it's going to be Poloniex. They haven't said exactly which platform, but there's a handful of the best exchanges that are out there, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Dascoin will be traded on those exchanges. So that's where we'll find the valuation. All right. So I'm going to talk briefly now about what this is. What are these packages? Okay. So basically, you can come in either as an investor or you can come in as an advocate. And either way, we're going to go over some of those details. But I just want to take a look at these ones because I believe that they offer the biggest advantage, especially now. Because we are still very, very early in this. And you got to realize as well, guys and gals, that still Bitcoin is less than 1% of the world population using it. And if you don't see the potential with that and what this could grow to, I mean, think about when, we got the first email. Think about AOL. You got mail. Now everyone has email. I mean, think about when the first cell phones came out. Now everyone has cell phones. Okay, think about technology like that, because this is going to be the same way. These digital technologies are coming, like it or not. They are coming. I mean, I buy my organic eggs and lettuce here in Mexico, and I pay the guy in Bitcoin. He takes Bitcoin. All right. I give Bitcoin away to friends all the time. I talk about Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin, but I also love all the other alt currencies that are out there, and I invest in them too because I believe that you don't know which one's going to make it, which one isn't. This one, in my opinion, has a very, very positive, strong element. All the elements I talked about earlier. The teams, the technology, the right place, the right time. Okay. Now, these packages this is the way they sell. They sell licenses. Okay, this is how you access coin. Okay, you have to buy a license. Now you can do that as an advocate or as an investor or customer, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to look at these. I'm going to talk about some of these specific things inside here. A lot of other webinars, like if you go to the Dascoin Diamond site, the team site that we have, there's a lot of other training in there, so you can go. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds about what it actually means, but I'm going to say that some key elements here are important to notice. We're looking just underneath, like the 5 is on the left and the 25 is on the right. But you see here that if you stack up, 5K packages, they don't add up to the number that you'd get from the 25K. All right, so there are certain advantages to scaling. If you have the funds and you're able to do it, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Within a system, as an advocate, there are ways that we have incentivized the production so that you get rewarded and you get increased. So even if you came in with a smaller package, a €100 package, you can grow that and upgrade it and make it bigger in the future. A couple things I want to talk about here that are super, super, super important. That a lot of guys haven't mentioned yet, and maybe they have, but I may have missed it. Let's just look here at the difference between the web wallet and the levels and what that means. Okay, so if you recall, if you've been around the crypto, typically when coins come out and they actually have the ICO, the release date, what they do is they have a certain amount of pre-mined coins that they give away to all their friends and the investors, and that's cool, But typically, what happens is on the first day of the market opening up, these guys maybe they put in I don't know, 10K, let's say, and they get a certain number of Ethereum or a certain number of Zcash or whatever they did. Well, when the markets open on the first day and there's a spike in value of the coin, these guys have no limitations on what they can dump. So what do? They dump big positions so that they get back their gain. Okay, so they lock in their gain. All right, now I'm good. I'll let the rest ride. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. I understand the mental behavior behind it, but it's very short-sighted in my opinion, because a lot of times what happens is these coins, you see all these gyrations, massive gyrations, and people get scared. So the average guy doesn't want to buy Ethereum or Zcash because it's too volatile. You'll wait. All right, so yeah, you made your money, but you've also potentially deterred tens of thousands of people from coming in. Now, how is this different with Dascoin? This is an ecosystem, guys. These guys are very, very well thought out with. It determines it's like a faucet. It's how big your faucet is. That's what the levels of the wallet mean. So for example, let's say you hold 10K worth of positions within Dascoin. And let's say if you got them at a 4.3 frequency lock, you're looking at about 70,000 coins. Excuse me, about 140,000 coins, plus or minus, that somebody in that position would hold or control. Now, on the first day that these coins go live, guess what? The people can't dump 50K worth of their coins. Why not? Well, because the web wallet is a faucet, and if you came in at a 5K package, for example, then you're on a level 4 wallet, I believe, and you're going to get fewer coins. Okay, so that's how it works. The faucet opens up, and you get a certain amount of coins per day that you can sell. It's a way to protect the company too, in the sense that, first day, coins and make their profits and cause all kinds of mayhem. So That's just one thing I wanted to point out that I've noticed that I think is important because I'm a trader. I watch this stuff. Another thing here is frequency lock. Now we'll talk about that. Upgrades. Okay, upgrades. Let's see. All right, let me see where we are here. Okay, so we'll go into some of this stuff. What are cycles? All right, so when you buy a license, you get these things called cycles. Well, what does that mean? Basically, you can read this. I'm not going to read it to you, but in essence, a company uses to be able to know how many they have. It's like a storeroom of energy. It's like a battery. All right. So it fills up. It's a capacitor. It fills up. Let's say it fills up. Oh yeah, we got all this. We got some. I got some people rolling in, and they're supporting this. Great. Okay. What does that mean? More nodes. That means when we have these spikes and people want to come in and trade, $100 trillion with their trading platform, and they want to add 5 more offices in Shanghai and Singapore and New York and wherever. Well, guess what? The system will scale. So it has this built-in scalability function, so that there's always a pool of available cycles, and those cycles get used to deploy more nodes. Okay, more nodes in the system. Just like we have with Bitcoin, you only have 5,000 nodes, and you got 7 transactions per second. You got a bottleneck there. That's a problem. Okay, so they've studied that extensively, and they built this system like this. That's why cycles are so important. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. The license, that's just another word for basically, how you get in. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. Frequency, okay, frequency cap. What does this mean? Frequency cap is hugely important, and I want you to really understand what this means. It's in essence a built-in action taker reward system. That's what I like to call it. Okay, that means that the people get in early. The people that get in early and see this opportunity and take action, they get rewarded with more coins, because the frequency cap is the divisor that goes into the number of cycles that you get. So, for example, let's say let's say you've got a situation with that example where you're controlling 10K, and you came in at a 4.3 frequency cap, and you have approximately 140,000 coins. All right, great. Well, if you were to wait and the frequency cap goes up to 5 or 5.5, for example, you see that number. If you divide something by 4, then you're going to have more left over. Like if you cut a pizza into 4 pieces, you're going to have bigger pieces. If you cut it into 5 pieces, well, the pieces are going to get a little smaller. That's it. That's all it means. So I like to keep it simple and understand the frequency cap. As that thing goes up, you get less coins. That's it. That's how it works. And it's a way to protect the action takers, the people that, the people that came to America in the beginning. They got like, I don't agree with everything that we did with the Indians and all that stuff, but large plots of land were given to people, thousands of acres to these people. Well, they got there first. That's why. That's why they have tens of thousands of acres under their family trust control. It's the same way. Okay, another thing let's talk about here is upgrades. Read this thing. This is important too. When the system is working, and you not only what gets upgraded with our system is the number of cycles. So if you go back to this slide here, and you see that the 25K package has 3 upgrades, and the 5K has 5 or 2 upgrades rather. What this means is the doubling. It's a doubling effect. So the coins that the frequency cap, or the cycles that you get when you buy the license, that number gets upgraded once. That means it doubles. Then it gets upgraded again. That means it doubles again. The entire number, okay, the entire number doubles. So this happens 3 times with this one. That's why you don't get a linear comparison. You can't buy 5K packages and then compare with how much you get if you bought one 25K package. You're going to get less because of this factor right here, the upgrade factor. All right. So now let's go back to the last thing I want to talk about here is this right here. This is the frequency cap. Okay, this is what you're going to see when you go to this site and you want to get in. All right, the system, the way it's designed is, we are the Diamond team, and we're just one team amongst many other teams. But I would encourage all of you. The Diamond team has a really great spirit, and it's got a lot of people that are helping each other. My friend Eric doing these translations. I've got guys on my team that are really helping out and doing a lot of things, and I'm giving the love back to them. I know about internet marketing, and we're working on that together. And there's a lot of things that are really super good about this. People are working together in Facebook groups, are working together in WhatsApp groups. We're really coming together as a group, and that's nice. So if you have an option, I would really encourage you guys to join the Diamond team. If anyone brought you to this webinar, anyone invited you, please get back to that person, because that's how this works. That's how the rewards, work. And that's all I want to say about that. But let's see, this frequency cap thing. You'll notice that there's this timer on the site, and what that does is it continues to count down until the frequency cap readjusts, because the frequency cap continues to readjust. It's usually in like a 30-day window. I know they've had a couple of extensions here in the last week or so, just because of the transition to the binary compensation plan. But typically moving forward, it's going to be a firm number of days, and then it's going to go up again and go up again and go up again. Okay, so the incentive is to take action. Remember, this is a built-in action-taking reward system. That's how I like to describe it to people. That's the best way. I think most people can understand that. All right, so here we are. Let's talk about the future now. These two guys, again, we got quotes from Richard Branson. We got quotes from Bill Gates. We got quotes from Ben Bernanke. These are powerful financial people, and they're talking about digital transactions, universal and almost free. Well, Bitcoin's transactions are almost free, and same with Dascoin. I mean, these transactions are really, really good. Same thing with what Bernanke's saying. There's one thing that I did not mention yet that I apologize about, and I guess I'll go back to this slide here. Spendability. Okay, spendability. This is huge, guys, and the DAS Pay system. Okay, the DAS Pay system is something I want to cover here, because remember we talked about how there's only 150 wallets, 150 thousand outlets that accept Bitcoin. Well, the system is set up so that it's hard to spend Bitcoins. I mean, I'll give you an example. I bought some silver last year, and the reason I spent Bitcoin to buy it was because, if I used a card, it would have cost me 3.5%. And, instead of getting X amount of silver, I got X plus 3.5%. So I got, 35 more ounces of silver. That's why I use Bitcoin. Now, spendability is huge, though, because if I'm going to go on vacation, it's still hard for me to spend my Bitcoins. But with DAS Pay works with the Android Pay and the Apple Pay technology. It's the same technology. So if you have three different people, the first guy has a Visa card in his Apple Pay, the second guy has a MasterCard in his Android Pay, and I've got my in my web wallet. Well, it's all the same NFC technology. Stands for Near Field Communication Technology. You guys need to look into that. And what it means is there's over 50 million merchants that are out there already that accept MasterCard and Visa, and they have these machines that you can just swipe your phone by. You don't have to take your card out, and 6 seconds later, tick, 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 approved. Okay, so the merchant selling something, if you have these same three people come in, First guy buys with his Apple Pay. Second guy buys with his Android Pay. Third guy is me, and I buy with my Dascoins. Well, is the merchant going to know that I use Dascoins? No, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care that the guy used a MasterCard or the guy used a Visa. He doesn't care. All he cares is that it goes tiki tiki tick, approved. Okay, so that's the beauty of the Das Pay system, and I think that's what's going to be revolutionary. So I apologize I didn't mention that earlier. Let's see. All right, what I'm going to do here next is, I see there's a lot of questions coming in, and I really appreciate all that, all the support. People, listening to this, looks like it's having a lot of resonance. So I want to talk about some philosophy here now. Just let me wax a little bit philosophical, okay? What we've been presented with thus far, guys and gals, is some choices in life, okay? For whatever reason, you've chosen a path, and you've been put on a path, and you chose a profession, you chose to do whatever. There were some pretty powerful forces that were influencing those decisions, whether you know it or not. And depending on what you chose to do, let's just talk about banking, for example. I mean, here we have a system where they built these very, very secure buildings that have big vaults inside, and all this fancy stuff. And they have all these special procedures, about security, and they have men with guns standing outside the front of it. Well, and so it's very hard for people to rob a bank. It still happens. It's hard for the common man to rob a bank. Let's put it that way. And you can go and you try to take your money out of this bank, and they give you the riot act. They call you a financial terrorist. Who are you funding? They ask all these questions. I don't like that. I like privacy. But unfortunately, if you think banks can't get robbed, you're very naive. At Cyprus, you got to look at Greece, you got to look at Argentina, you got to look at Venezuela, you got to look at India, got to look at Australia, what they're doing there with cash. It's very easy to rob a bank if you are a banker, or you're a politician, or a government authority. So I would argue that keeping your wealth in one of these banks is very risky, and there are alternatives. These cryptographic wallets, and I'm going to show you some things here. We're going to talk about in much more detail later. I mean, I've got some hard wallets I'm going to show you guys where you can put your crypto into that. But then let's talk other big picture issues here, because this is an area that I think I want to share some information. We've got half the population that's unbanked. We've got so much wealth in the world. I mean, honestly, if the people that have been running these systems up to this point had a care about these people, and their standard of living would be higher, and they would be using the banking system to help them. But I see the reality of the situation, and unfortunately, it's not so pretty. I mean, I see a situation where these people have been exploited. The people that can least afford to be exploited are being exploited by these systems. If I get the $100 because I'm working 3 jobs back to my family in Mexico or wherever, and the likes of these conglomerates, Western, send money, whatever, all these different choices that people have, is it really a choice when you have 10% or a significant percentage of your wealth and your energy is going to get extracted and stolen by these people that just offer a service? I mean, think about it. Today we can make phone calls via Skype, via Telegram, via all these other technologies, Facebook Messenger, etc. I can literally be in a call with 5 people all over the planet, all at the same time, free, live, video calls. But if I want to try to send these people some money, whoa, slow down. 5 days, wire fees, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they're going to take a nice big chunk of my energy. Well, the Bitcoin revolution, this is what it's about. It's about decentralized. It's about keeping your wealth. It's about, taking our power back. So I think that interesting philosophical impacts with this kind of discussion. And if you're a lover of peace and freedom, you can choose, and you can choose right or wrong. And it's really coming down to a binary choice, in my opinion. If we continue to support these systems that have a vast track record of doing what they're doing, you make your own opinions of whether or not you think it's good or bad or whatever, and you choose where you're going to put your energy. You're going to continue to support these existing systems, or are you going to look for alternatives? Are you going to look for systems that maybe have something hopeful for humanity? So that's really all I want to say about that. Now, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick little break here, give my voice a break. I'm going to go to the Q&A section, and bear with me while I do that. I'll keep the slide up, and I'm going to transition over to another screen here and take a look at some of these questions that have been rolling in, and do my best to answer them. And like I said, again, if you're watching this, because this is a live event in some areas, it's also being streamed in your specific time zone, and there will be replays. So if you get this and you put in a question, and for some reason we don't answer it right away, then the reason for that is that we've got folks who are seeing a broadcast that was today or the day before, and because we're trying to get it out to as many people as possible, we have the replays. So please, if there's any delay in that response, go ahead and just be advised that's why there's a slight delay. Anyway, so I hope you liked what we covered. I'm just going to cover, let's see, let me switch to, we are looking at these questions. I see them coming in here. Okay, yes, so we'll be answering that. Okay, I'm going to show you just a couple things as those continue to come in, and I've got some help on the back end that are organizing those for me. I'm going to show something here. This here, guys, I'm transitioning now to a live, live show. See my face? I hope you enjoyed the presentation. This right here is it's a security device. With any of these cryptocurrencies, you have to be very, very mindful of security for sure, and we're going to do some in-depth training on that also. How you can use these kind of devices to really protect yourself. This is a Ledger wallet, and I don't have any affiliate system with them at all, but it's a simple little it's a hardware piece here. Okay, and the way these work is that bitcoins can be stored in bitcoins and other digital currencies can be stored in these kind of devices, not just in your Coinbase wallet, and they can be held here, and they can be held in a safe. Okay, and the technology that's growing is really getting good. People that are working on it. This one works with a special card. They give you this special little card here. Y'all can see that. Basically, and it has all these little codes on the back of it. So if for some reason you lose that device and someone finds it and tries to break into it, they get 3 tries, and then they can't get in, and you can retrieve those coins via the system. So that's a nice feature. They've also got these extra little things like where you can plug this into any phone, or you can make it virtually work with almost any device. I wanted to show you that. another thing, bear with me here, is, you know, I want to point out, just do one quick shout out. This opportunity it's truly global. You know, there are many opportunities that aren't. You know, they're regional, they're provincial. But we've got an opportunity here where literally all you need is a phone and a mouth. And if you look at that guide that I wrote, that's in the bottom of the window there. It's a short little guide that I wrote about the Bitcoin blueprint. And there's some secrets inside there. I want to encourage all of you to read that because it's what I do. I've seen people do this. That's how I learned how to do it. And I've also done it myself, and it works. Okay. Funny story. Just the other day, I was sharing Bitcoin with some friends, and someone else invited someone else to come and sit down. And this woman sat down and said, you know, hey, I want to hear about Bitcoin too. And I said, okay, sure. So my technique is very simple. I try not to explain Bitcoin because Bitcoin's too complicated. I don't get into it. I don't get into all the details of it. What I do is I give them Bitcoin. That's what I do. So I give them a few bucks, $5, $10, whatever, worth of Bitcoin. And see, then all of a sudden, because if you ask 99 people out of 100, if they've heard of Bitcoin, they'll be like, yeah, we've heard of it. But then you prompt them and you say, hey, you know, so you ever used it? You ever bought anything with it? No. I've heard of it. Yeah, I read some articles about it, you know, but I've never used it. Okay, cool. Would you like to use some? I'll give you some. How about that? I give it away like candy. All right. Call me crazy. You know, these coins are going to be worth a lot of money someday. We don't know, but it could be worth a lot more money than they are right now. 700, 750, 800. We're still less than 1%, guys. The experts are saying when we hit 1%, the price of Bitcoin is going to be $2,000 to $5,000 US. When we hit 2%, it's going to be 5 to 10K. When we hit 3%, 5%, it's going to be 10, 15, 50K a coin. Bitcoins can be divided into 8 decimal points, guys. That means you can send literally a dime worth of Bitcoin, or you can send 100 grand, a million. Doesn't matter. All right. It's very small, divisible. So one Bitcoin, potentially, there's people that are saying it might be worth $1 million someday. So hold on to those $5 on Bitcoin I'm giving you. But the way I look at it, we got to use it. It's got to be real. And when I give Bitcoin to people, it makes it real to them. It's right there. It's in their hand. It's in their palm. And then human nature starts kicking in. Hey, what can I do else? Oh, what can I buy with this? Can I buy more? Can I mine it? What can I do? You know, this is what I love about Bitcoin. You mean if I send it to my family, there's not going to be a big fee? You know, they're not going to suck all this money away? Yeah. And all of a sudden, this is how we spread the news, guys. This is how it works. And they can't stop it. They've tried. They might as well just stop trying. Anyway, let me get back to these questions, and I'm going to bear with me as I answer a few of them. Okay, I had a few questions about health. All right, so I saw some of those. Now, the guide, this is the way it's designed to work. All right, if you are a lover of Bitcoin, all I'm going to say, I'm not going to explain the guide. I want you to read it, because part of the success of what's happened with marketing and network marketing is that there's duplicatable systems. So if I can do this, and I've seen others do it, and I do it, and it works, well, then if you do it, you can make it work too. All right? And the simplicity of a duplication system is very, very powerful. So you can do it, and others can do it. And so read the guide, please. I'm not going to answer any specific questions about that. Read it 10 times if you have to. Do what, you know, we have a promotion where, you know, if you don't have any Bitcoin, you're just getting started, you know, send us a will. We pick out of those people, and we give them some Bitcoin. All right. And let's see. There's let's see. There's some other things that people asked about, some of the specifics with regards to the actual functionality of Dascoin, and again, I kept it really high level today. We're going to have people coming on board throughout the weeks coming forward who are going to be, I'm going to have Blair Baker on. I'm going to have people that are going to explain the exchange, how it works. I'm going to have people that are really going to get into the nuts and bolts of the web wallet and how that works, and how Apple Pay really works, and how it protects me. And I'm going to have security experts coming on, like, how do I secure these Bitcoins? How do I use two-factor authentication? How that? Okay, it's all going to be there. And we're going to build all that stuff. It's all going to go inside this diamond that we created to consolidate a lot of this knowledge. So please study the material, because it's a way to protect your wealth, protect your families, protect the future, and potentially grow a business, if you want to do that as well. If you're just somebody that wants to be a customer and see the coin as its fundamental value, we're okay with that too. You don't have to promote this. You don't have to sell anything. You don't have to do anything. And I'm not selling anything, guys. I'm honestly not. And I'm not in this for the money. All right. I'm in this for what I believe Bitcoin and these altcoins are doing for humanity. I believe in my heart that this is something so powerful that is truly going to set humanity free. The folks that are, the remittance market alone is $69 billion a year in India alone. $69 billion is being sent back to India. Why does that happen? Well, these guys are on H-1B visas for 3 years, 5 years. They live in these small little apartments. They're saving all their money and they're sending all their money home. That's why. All right. And they're in technology. They're making big salaries and they're not spending it all. And they're accumulating wealth and they have a plan. They have a future. Okay. But what they've been doing up to this point is they've been sending the money Western Union, and their family collects the big stack of rupees at Western Union office, sticks it under the mattress. And then the government, a few weeks ago says, guess what? These large rupee bills are no longer valid. And we're going to go with a new one, a new piece of paper with a new person on there. If you are a terrorist or if you're a, someone like that, well, then come in and you can turn those old rupee notes into us, the bankers, the banks. You can come to us. And we will, of course, we'll ask you lots of questions, where this came from. Make sure you're not a terrorist, something like that. I mean, do you see how ridiculous this is, guys? I mean, I have to laugh how silly this is. And then they say, oh, well, since this is, undocumented, then therefore we're going to take 50% of it as a tax. So there you go. Then they steal again, once again. All right. There are models that can obfuscate that and make that irrelevant, and we can just walk away. We don't have to participate in that any longer, guys. And that's what these systems really represent. They represent people being able to hold on to their property. If you understand the fundamentals of what government is established for, if you look at things like foundational documents, with government formation and all this other stuff, the people they form a government, number one, to protect and preserve property. That's the whole purpose of the government. And don't lose sight of that, because when the same people that are spending all their time figuring out how they're going to get into your wallet and devalue the money that's in there already, and how they're going to steal from you, and how they're going to tax you, and under whatever thing they're going to call it, it's just theft. That's all it is. It's just plain and simple theft. So black and white. Look at that chart. Look at that yin. Look at the yang. Let's see. I'm going to try to answer a few more questions. I'm looking at the time here, and I know I've probably gone over, so I do apologize about that. But I think we've covered some really nice stuff today. All right. People are asking a lot about how we get started. Okay. The most important part with that is, look, links. You may find some of the links that are either on this site that'll take you, or through the webinar that'll take you directly to the sign up section of the Dascoin site. And there's 3 ways to get started. The first way is basically you either have to wire the money, Or the second way is you have to have Bitcoins, and you can use Bitcoins. Or the third way is with gift codes. So if you know somebody. But I want to encourage everybody, if you were sent here to this information, I really want to encourage you to go back to the person that told you about this, because that person's important, and that person's on the team. That person, I don't want to steal from that person at all. My intent is to share this information, share as many tools as possible with folks. And I encourage you, if you found some of this information compelling, and you are one of these people that are an action taker, and you see the rewards for action takers, and you want to jump in, make sure that you contact the person that sent you here and honor that, because that's the right thing to do. And that person will be rewarded. Of course, others are getting rewards as well, all the way up. The compensation system within the Dascoin universe is quite nice. And again, that's not why I'm doing this stuff, guys. I'm doing this more for other philosophical reasons. And if you are somebody who believes in truth and freedom and peace and joy and love, and you want to support those kind of things, you're going to gravitate to things like this, things like Bitcoin, things like libertarianism, things like ideas, Ubuntu, things like whatever, peopleism, the Earth Plan, things like this, that encourage people to be free, and encourage people to contribute, and encourage people to work together. Because in my former life, I did fly thousands and thousands of hours, guys. I've got the seat time. All right, and I've been all over this earth. I've been to many, 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 many places, and I've seen lots and lots and lots of people from different cultures from all over the world. And I will say this, that I've never met one person in all my travels that I could not get along with, that I had something in common with. We both put our pants on the same way. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you practice. You're a person just like I am, and we have a lot in common. And I honestly, I want to focus on those commonalities, not the differences. And I believe if we stay there, a lot of these situations that we have will start to go away. And that's how we do it. That's how we change the world. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. I love this stuff. I love it. I breathe it. And all I can say is I hope this energy gets to you. The other questions, a lot of them were duplicates, so I apologize if I didn't get to your question. We are running a little short on time, but there are going to be many webinars. I'm going to be doing these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then we're going to have the replays also. Plus, we're going to have translations of it. So a lot's coming, guys, and we're really, really excited about this. We're really excited about Bitcoin. We're really excited about the whole shooting match. Dascoin. All right. With that, thank you for watching, and thank you for being here. I want to say sincerely that I only wish the best to you and to yours, and I mean that from my heart. So take the information, process it, and proceed accordingly. Thanks.